All right, joining me now from Milan in Italy, Mikhail Minakov is a senior advisor on Ukraine at the Kennan Institute. He's also editor-in-chief of the Focus Ukraine blog. Great to have you with us. Now, of course, this has been building for months now. What do you make of Putin's tactics over time, how they've changed? Is this part of a grand plan, or do you think the West has made him change course along the way?
Thank you for invitation, Michael. And yes, the situation is quite dire in Ukraine right now. However, this massive campaign that was launched since the end of October last year seems to have been kept Kremlin from active, as they call it, active measures on the border with Ukraine. At the same time, there's a pretty solid group of troops on the border from the north to the south around Ukraine. Ukrainian army is also stationed in a bigger number, getting ready to resist and defend the country. And what is troubling is that so far all these plans seem to play or misused by the Kremlins for their case. If you look in the last 2 months, there were several dates named by the Western media, Western experts and diplomats. So it was 24th of December, there was a 1st of January, up until the 16th of February. On this 16th of February, it was like a peak for Ukrainian population living under stress on the threat from Russia, from the ongoing war in Donbass, but also from this massive media campaign. So my compatriots were in a very difficult situation. And here,
Vladimir Putin, sorry, I was just going to ask you, Vladimir Putin clearly wants Ukraine to give up the whole idea of NATO membership. Of course, it's enshrined in the Constitution, but do you think there would come a time when Ukraine would contemplate that, just say, okay, we won't join, and take that part of the pressure off?
Well, several days ago, there was a probe on behalf of current administration how the population would react on dropping of the idea of NATO membership, and it was rather scandalous. According to recent polls, Ukrainian population has the highest percentage of people of the population, much above than 50%, supporting the idea of NATO membership. However, yes, the very idea, the wish to become a member in the NATO creates this additional pressure from Russia. And Minsk agreements, the way they are constructed, if they are fulfilled, the membership in both NATO and EU is not possible, since the part of Ukraine, these autonomous republics, would be able to block, to veto any possible ideas of moving further westwards.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, in terms of destabilizing Ukraine, damaging its economy, undermining social stability, all things Russia is doing or trying to do, how successful has Russia been in that regard? Is damage being done without firing a shot?
Well, so far it looks like that. According to Ukrainian president and Ukrainian economists, during this campaign, media campaign in November, in December, in January, Ukraine was losing at least about $2 to $3 billion a month. For Ukraine, which has economies a little bit more than $500 billion, it's already a lot. It was like more than a percent, closer to 2% of our economy, just because of the threat and these troubles, the sensations that Ukrainian population has. So yes, without making a shot so far, there was a damage for economy. But at the same time, there's a definitely unity around the flag on Ukrainian side. The 16th of February was a National Unity Day, and you could feel that even not only rank and file citizens were feeling this solidarity, but even oligarchs were returning to Ukraine from their exile. They were running away on the 13th of February. So there's a national unity achieved.
We're almost out of time, so briefly, if you can, there's a lot of talk about the Minsk agreement being the foundation for any settlement. What are the chances of that agreement being enforced when it has not until now? Constant violations, and Ukraine is no fan of Russia's interpretation of it. Is it still a basis for a solution?
Well, I must admit that Minsk agreements 7 years ago were a tool to stop the active war and movement of Russian troops and Russia-backed separatists close to Kyiv. However, as an agreement that could establish a stable peace, well, it is not. It's not a tool for peace. It's more a tool for capitulation. So right now there's enormous measures and pressures are done on all sides, from Kyiv to Moscow to Brussels and to Washington, to review and find a more viable version of the Minsk agreements. However, if any side of the Minsk agreements would denounce them, the full-fledged war most probably would return.
Right, right. Mikhail Minakov, we wish we had more time. We do not. They're in Milan, Italy. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.